Hello and welcome to the Bonafide Basketball Podcast. We have a great show today, so stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jay Sauce here with Hot Rod. What's going on, Rod?
Just chilling, man. Just watched the end of this Cavs Pacers game. It was a really good game, and Cavs somehow put it out. What about you?
I know, same here. I was watching that too, and I was actually rooting for Indiana because I like to see an upset, but I don't know. It went down to the wire. It was a good game.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty surprising. Cavs had another big lead, and they sort of seemed to blow it, and it kind of looked like the Pacers were going to take it and have it be up 3-1, but Bron and them boys showed up and they pulled it out.
Yeah, exactly. Bron, it's hard to beat Bron no matter where you're at. But let's go ahead. Let's get right into it, man. We got a lot to talk about today. Bunch of games have happened. First round. We even have a series over now. So these are the first round's kind of coming to a close. We're starting to see, okay, who's going to pull out these series. To start, I guess, do you have any observations, anything you really just want to get out there about this series that you noticed over the past week?
Heat in 7 is my first thing. And the second thing, I'm really shocked at how good the Pelicans played against the Blazers. I did not expect them to be the first team in the second round at all. What do you think?
That's a good point. If you would have asked before the playoffs started who's going to be the first team to advance, you would have not said the New Orleans Pelicans.
No, I would put a lot of money on that, and I don't think anyone would bet me.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people I had Portland winning, and they didn't even win a game. Not even one.
22 analysts on ESPN voted before all the series. Every single one had Portland winning, and not a single one had New Orleans winning. And they swept the Blazers. That's crazy.
Wow. That's insane. So with that, one of the things we want to do a little bit differently, we're always trying to do new things on the show. So we're trying to get more debates going. So I got some phrases for you, Rod, that you're gonna answer. Just tell me how you feel with some yes or no. So you got to pick a side, and then I'll give my side too. But it's gonna be something new, and hopefully, listeners, you like it. So here we go. First thing, I guess it makes sense to start with since we were just watching the Cavaliers play against the Pacers. If Indiana somehow beats Cleveland in this series, are they the new favorite to come out of the East?
No, I don't think so at all. I think if they pull it out, Philly and Toronto takes a huge sigh of relief, because then I think those two are the favorites. And I think if Philly, beats Miami and whoever they play next round, I believe they'll beat. If they get to that Eastern Conference Finals, I think they'll have so much confidence, especially being young and all those shooters, man. It's going to be real hard to beat those guys. I think they'll be in the finals if they get there. Even if they play LeBron. So that's going to be tough for Bron to get over.
The Philly.
Yeah.
You're saying Philly. So Philly would be the favorite if the Pacers win, and even if Cleveland wins, you still think Philly's got a legitimate chance.
Yeah,
right?
I think
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think they have a legit chance with or without Cleveland in. And with Cleveland out, that's probably who I'd put my money on getting to the finals if everyone stays healthy, especially Embiid.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go on the other side of this. I think if the Pacers beat Cleveland, that's no small task, and I'm taking them as the favorite because if they can take down LeBron, they can take down a younger less experienced version of LeBron and Ben Simmons. That's just me. I mean, I say Philly does. They probably have more dangerous pieces, more like, with Embiid. Redick is probably a more consistent shooter than just about anyone on the Cavs. But if they beat LeBron, I don't know how I can not see them as a favorite. I know they won't have home court advantage, but they're the new favorite to me. If they win, they got it. So, all right, next question, next topic. So, this one going to the West Coast. It involves the Warriors and the Spurs. Kawhi Leonard will be wearing a different jersey next year. It doesn't really depend on this series as much, but if they lose this series, which the Spurs, it's looking like they will, but Kawhi Leonard will be wearing a different jersey next year. Yes or no?
That one is a tough one, but I think yes, because that just isn't how the Spurs roll. And I really think that they're trying to keep it as quiet as possible. And especially with, Pop going through what he's going through right now. And he's the president. Yeah. So he's the president and the coach. And he's really not happy about this whole Kawhi situation. So I think it's more likely that he's traded. But there was a report that came out the other day that he's not, if he does trade him, he's traded him to the East. So Miami, get your horses ready.
Yeah, I heard about that too. That I guess Pop doesn't like to help out other West teams, which makes sense. If you're an organization, you don't want to, hurt your own chances of making the finals.
Yeah, and it's not rocket science. Like, if I was in the East, I wouldn't want to trade a superstar to the Eastern team so I can see him in the playoffs or whatever. Especially a guy with Kawhi's talent.
I think I'm gonna have to go on the other side of this one too, because all the stuff that has happened, I think Kawhi, these reports of, he wants to go to LA, he wants to go to these other teams and markets. I think Kawhi he's a quiet guy. He just wants to be there. He likes the familiarity of this team. I don't think he wants to go to another team where he has to start all over again and be around all this change. He seems like the type of guy, they say reports he still drives like a 1998 Chevy Tahoe. That's a perfect example. He doesn't want to, reinvent the wheel, go to a new team, try to build up from the bottom. I think he likes the Spurs. I think the Spurs like him. It's just unfortunate right now. I think it's, we talked about in the last podcast, it's due to contract talks. It's all about money. That's what this is. It's a business. And I think we will see him in a uniform next year again. Hopefully, the Spurs. I think it's going to be Spurs. Oh.
I just don't know if they're going to offer him that full max. I don't, especially after what
really. You don't think they'll?
I don't know, man. It's tough. They're kind of in a little tough cap situation. So
yeah.
If I'm them, they still made the playoffs without him this year, and all the assets you could get from him. You know what I mean? It's something to really think about if you're,
man.
The Spurs.
Yeah. We'll see. It just seems so unlike them and Pop and the organization. It would have to be a real falling out. Unbelievable falling out.
Kawhi has the craziest trust issues, and I feel like if your star player in your organization can't trust each other, it's time to
True.
part ways. It doesn't make sense for him to sign a 5-year $200 million contract if he doesn't trust the organization, and they don't trust him because he cannot play for them whenever he doesn't want to.
True. Good point. We'll see. I think he'll be there. I think Pop, they'll have a conversation once they put the contract together.
I'm secretly hoping he's not, so he's traded to the Heat. But that's just
to the Heat. Well, yeah, that report that came out there, that helps your chances if they can. What would they be able to offer though? What, draft picks? Who you think?
They'd offer probably Winslow, maybe Dragic, because you know how Pop likes those European point guards. Like, in Dragic, I feel like he's a little older, but in the Spurs system, he'd be like another good 3-4 years. So,
all right.
I think it'd start with those two. If I'm Miami, there's no way I trade Richardson or Bam, but they'd probably have to give up one of the two as well.
Yeah, I think you'd have to give up Bam.
Yeah.
I think if you're the Spurs, how do you not come out with Bam out of that trade?
I mean, Bam, Dragic, and Winslow for Kawhi Leonard, that's pretty good. Because, I mean, Winslow's pretty much a jump shot-less Kawhi.
Yeah. I don't know. If I'm the Spurs, I don't do that trade because Dragic is old, Winslow's disappointing, and I need draft picks. I need a first-round pick.
Oh, they'd probably get an extra first round on that. They'd probably get a first-round pick out of that, too. But, I mean, that's what you got to give up for, like, a superstar. And Pat Riley's known for going after these superstars. I mean, Shaq and Alonzo Mourning back in time. So, it's like, this is, like, a Pat Riley type move.
All right. Well, moving on. Got another question for you. Will the Timberwolves win another game this season? Yes or no?
Nah, I think this series is over in 5. That's what I predicted. I knew the Timberwolves would win one home game. I think it's still going to end in 5. I just don't think they have enough offense to keep up with the Rockets. And their defense isn't that great.
Yeah, I think, last game they got kind of lucky in the sense that, Jimmy Butler had a great game. Karl Towns had a pretty good game, the type of game he should have been having. He didn't have an outstanding game, but he had, an average game. And I thought they got great bench production from, like, D. Rose. D. Rose had, the best game I've seen him play in a meaningful scenario in a long time. So, yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on this. I don't think they win another game. I think they got, it took everything they had to win that one game. If Wiggins can come out and show me something, then they have a chance to win another game. But overall, we know who's going to win this series. Rockets are going to win it. I don't know. If Wiggins shows up like he should be, then they have a chance. But I got Rockets. All right, moving on. Next topic. This one involves the Thunder. So Carmelo Anthony is the reason that the Thunder are losing to the Jazz right now. Yes or no?
I say no, because he may be one little reason, but he can't be the reason. I mean, they're not hitting shots, and their offense just doesn't look that good against, Utah, who has like one of the top defenses in the league. So I wouldn't completely blame it on Melo, but at the same time, he's definitely dropped from like the 3rd best player on this team coming into the season to the 4th or 5th best.
4th or 5th. So who you got over him? Steven Adams?
Steven Adams. And sometimes Jeremy Grant is just way more valuable to them than he is. I'm not saying overall, but like there's certain situations where he's just a better defender, shot blocker, and he'll hit that occasional outside 3 that teams have to respect. And he's such a good like rebounder too. Like, he's athletic. He's literally everything that Melo's not.
Athletic, rebounder,
like
defender.
But Melo's just a better and obviously a proven guy in the league, so he has that like name credibility.
Yeah.
But other than that, Jeremy Grant's pretty much everything Melo's not. So some nights Melo's the 4th best, some nights he's the 5th best.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say I think Melo is the reason, because coming into this season when they got Melo, the hope was not to be a playoff contender, not to be a Western Conference Finals contender. It was to be a championship contender. And I think throughout the entire season, their expectations have only gone down. It went to, can they, at one point it was, can they even make the playoffs? And then, now it's, okay, they've made the playoffs. Can they win the first round? They're down to the Utah Jazz, who lack an all-star on their team. This team has a former MVP. It's got a former greatest scorer in the league at one point, Carmelo Anthony. I mean, one of the greatest scorers of all time. It's got Paul George, who was in the MVP conversation a few years ago, considered to be one of the best two-way players in the game. And they're in this situation. You know, I think it's because Russell Westbrook's been putting in his work. Paul George has been doing what's expected of him for the most part in the series. I think the one of that big three that's coming up short is Melo. I mean, he's just kind of not a factor. And on this team, you know, Melo's traditionally been the kind of guy who needs the ball in his hands to be successful. And on this team, the ball's not in his hands. So he's turned into kind of just a jump shooter or a catch it on the block, a little fadeaway. And I think he's just not doing enough if this team wants to win. It might not be his fault. It might be the fact that Russell Westbrook has the ball in his hands for like 90% of the game. But, you know, I think Melo's got to step up somehow.
So you think
if they want to win?
So you think he's the reason?
I mean, if Melo was averaging 25 points or 20 points a game in this series, I mean, all the games have been close. I think, you know, probably would have been different if he's hitting shots down the stretch, if they have another option that they can go to. Russell Westbrook can get a shot in his own. Paul George can get a shot in his own. But, you know, Melo's supposed to be that senior leader. And at the end of games, you know, he's not even – it's like he's not even a factor, really. And Steven Adams, like you said, Steven Adams has by far become their fourth best player. Like, or third best player. Not even fourth. He's their third best player. Like, Steven Adams is so integral to what they do now. I think, you know, he's doing what he can, but they need someone else to step up, and Melo's got to be that guy. And if he had been, I think he, you know, he's the reason. If he was stepping up, they wouldn't be down 2-1 right now. So, next topic. All right. If the Toronto Raptors do not win this series, I guess a little background, you know, before today, they were up, but now it's 2-2. After the games today, it's 2-2. So if the Toronto Raptors don't win this series, Dwayne Casey will be back coaching the team next year. Yes or no?
Oh, that one's another tough one. I would say no, he's not. Because I feel like he's in the same hot water that Terry Stotts is in from Portland, where they had such a great regular season, but, you know, kind of blew apart in the playoffs. And these were two coaches that were kind of on the hot seat coming into the season. And it's funny how, like, when the season ended, you'd think, oh, these guys are locked to keep their job because they made the playoffs. I mean, the Raptors are the 1 seed. The Blazers were the 3 seed. And then the Blazers go and get swept by the Pelicans. And Terry Stotts is back on the hot seat. He's probably not going to get fired. And then Dwayne Casey, they're the 1 seed. They're the number 2 seed overall in the whole league. Like, they had a better record than Golden State. And then if they go and lose to the 8 seed, I think he's gone too.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I kind of have to agree with you. If they lose in the first round, I think Dwayne Casey's gone. But it's just interesting to me, and it just shows how quickly things can change, because there have been talks that Dwayne Casey, you know, is up for Coach of the Year. They've had the best year in Toronto Raptors history, and it's kind of just, I think, bad timing, because they've been kind of at this same level for so long. They've been a top team in the East, but they've never seen success. So now, you know, in their best year, their best regular season, if they come up losing in the first round, there's kind of not much else you can do, because you know you got the players. That's what you do in the NBA. You either trade the players or you fire the coach, and most of the time you fire the coach.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about, you know, the Wizards being a team that could blow things up. I mean, if the Raptors were to lose, do you think they would blow that up? I think they would make some type of move for sure, because
I think you have to. Yeah.
Because that's
Same
a
with the
tough question.
Blazers.
And so I kind of want to ask the next question, since this is kind of a question that could relate to Toronto if they end up in the situation that Portland was. So this will be our question here, our yes or no question here for the Blazers Pelicans series. After this series and the Pelicans being the number 3 seed, or the Blazers being the 3 seed coming in, are they considered frauds? Or did they just play bad? Yeah, frauds. Like, for, fooling people into thinking they were going to be really good, but coming in, like, they weren't very good. Like, they were fooling everyone, basically, during the regular season. Would you consider them frauds or not?
Honestly, I'm going to say yes, because my question for you is, where is Damian Lillard? Like, can you tell me where he is? Because somebody needs to find him, and
I know who has him.
Bring him back to the Blazers, because what? Oh, who has him?
I know who.
Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday has him.
Knows exactly where he is.
Jrue Holiday. He's been hiding him.
Dude, Jrue Holiday. I did not see this coming. Jrue Holiday at all. Joel and I used to argue all the time about who won that trade when the Sixers traded Jrue Holiday for, Nerlens Noel and eventually Elfrid Payton pick. And I was like, the Pelicans, like, at the time it looks like the Pelicans, tried too hard to get, they spent a little bit to get a player just so they could, please Davis. And I was like, before Jrue Holiday's injuries, like, he was really good. Like, I was like, that was a good move. You pair a young point guard with the, young budding big man, eventually they could blossom and be good. So I always was on the Jrue Holiday side, and Joel and I would always go back and forth. And he always thought, the Pelicans would be better off with Nerlens Noel and whoever they would have drafted, which ended up being Elfrid Payton. But they traded that pick for Saric. So they ended up getting Saric, who was really good. But, like, it's just like, even I at the time never saw this coming for Jrue Holiday. Like, he's literally probably the best two-way player in the league right now, like, during this playoffs. Like, I've never seen anyone guard Damian Lillard like that.
Yeah, I have to agree. That was so surprising to not just do it defensively. So, first of all, he took Damian Lillard, because Damian Lillard's usually a killer. Like, I've said it before, he's like the closest mentality to Kobe Bryant that I thought was out there, other than Westbrook, but Lillard has that jump shot, that killer jump shot where he can get he can just get a bucket when he needs to, and he was virtually shut down. I mean, he still averaged over 18 a game for the series, but for Lillard and for what he means to the Blazers, that's just not going to cut it.
No.
And Jrue Holiday was a direct factor in that, and I just can't believe like how far this journey's come with Jrue Holiday from, he was an all-star back in the day, a long time ago with the Sixers. And then, he came to the Pelicans like you were talking about, injured, didn't play that much. The team was bad, on a minutes restriction every season. Then his wife gets ill and he takes off some time, an extended period of time to be with his wife, which was, great for him, like great guy. You kind of just hope that guys like that, get something in return, something comes back and does well for them, good karma. And it looks like that happened. I cannot believe he was like doing stuff I've never seen Jrue Holiday do. Just walk up, drain a 3-pointer right in somebody's face, score 40 points. Like, what? Where did this come from?
He was like crossing people, making people dance, and finishing at the rim.
Yes.
Like, dude, where was this? Like, years ago, like, wait, this is coming on now, and scoring 40. I looked at the score and I was like, Anthony Davis had 47, which is like, okay, that's AD. 41. I'm like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But man, he's really stepping up, and dude, if he plays like this and playoff Rondo continues, this ain't no cakewalk for Golden State.
Well, that actually leads right into my next question for you. Yes or no? the Pelicans have a legitimate chance against the Warriors next round?
I say yes because they can possibly have the best player on the floor. And usually
Anthony Davis.
Yes, and Anthony Davis. He could be the best player on the floor. And I don't think Golden State has an answer for him. So I think they have a legit chance if the other guys around him step up like they did last series. Because they wouldn't sweep, the Blazers if they didn't have guys step up like Drew Holiday, like Rajon Rondo. Who's
very true. Very true.
Playoff Rondo. He literally has that nickname, Playoff Rondo. And like guys like Etuan Moore, Ian Clark. Ian Clark was a Warrior, so he knows, how things go. And Gentry was a coach on the Warriors. Yeah. So, they have guys with a lot of knowledge on the Warriors and what they want to do. And they have possibly the best player on the floor.
Those are good points. Those are great points. I'm going to have to go the opposite, though.
I know you
Do they have a legitimate chance? Nope. Not to me. I think whether Curry comes back or not, obviously I'm hoping he comes back because, I'm a Warrior fan. Lakers first, Warriors second, But I just think this Warriors team, when they want to, they're just going to outplay them. And the role players on the Warriors are going to outplay the role players on the Pelicans. And I just don't think the Pelicans, specifically meaning Drew Holiday and somewhat Anthony Davis, I don't think, they can't score 40. They both can't score 40 points every game because that's what it's going to take to beat the Warriors. And they're going to have to hold Klay Thompson. Somebody's going to have to guard Klay Thompson. That's probably going to be who? You think that's going to be Drew Holiday? I think it will.
If he's guarding Drew Holiday, well, it's bye-bye Klay because bye-bye Lillard.
Yeah, but Klay Thompson is a much better defender. Lillard's known as being a bad defender. So, anyway, my argument.
No, what do you mean about him being a better defender?
Klay Thompson's going to be able to. Drew Holiday's going to have to guard Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson's going to be guarding Drew Holiday. So, it's not going to be like with Lillard trying to stop, or McCollum trying to stop Drew Holiday, where Holiday's got a height advantage, and he's playing, Lillard and McCollum are kind of known for being bad defenders. Well, Klay Thompson, he's one of the best two-way players in this league, just like Drew Holiday, and they're going to be going back and forth. They're closer to the same height, so it's the trade-offs, and I think Klay Thompson's going to get the better of him because he doesn't have to dribble the ball every play because he's not a point guard. Now, Rondo takes a lot of those point guard minutes from Drew Holiday now, so it's going to be a battle, but I'm taking the Warriors. I think, Pelicans might win one game. They might. But I got my boy Draymond. Draymond, he might be short, but he's going to guard Anthony Davis. And they got so many bigs they can just throw at him, throw fouls at him, play tough, physical. Throw McGee at him for a few minutes. Throw Kevon Looney at him for a few minutes, pick up some fouls. Throw Jordan Bell. Even Pachulia, bring him off the bench. So,
yeah.
I got the Warriors. The cheap. Hey, Pachulia is not a dirty player. People give him a bad rep. He's clumsy. He's a clumsy guy. That's why he can't make a layup. Have you ever watched him try to make a running layup? He gets a bad rap. Anyway, that's not the point.
I completely disagree, but we could move on. But no, I think with the Pelicans, if Curry doesn't play, they have a legit shot to win the series. I 100% believe that they have a legit shot to win. If he does play and he's healthy, then I don't think they really have that big of a shot as the points I was making earlier.
Well, we will see. Only time will tell. I got the Warriors, and we will see.
So without Curry, how many games? You said 5. You think it's gonna go 5 either way?
Yeah. Because I think Curry's going to come back. If I had to predict, I think Curry's probably gonna come back game 3 or something.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Get 3. I think will be the game he comes back. because they're going to try to, hold their own at home. They think they're going to have like a little home court advantage, so they're not going to need to bring him back. Let him sit out a little more. Bring him back for game 3. And, I mean, especially that game would be the one that the Pelicans would steal, the first one at home. So, and then I see a healthy Curry or a Curry that had one game to warm up come back for game 4 and 5 and close them out. Well, we'll see. How about you? You think it's going... How many you think? 6, 7?
I say it goes 5 with Curry fully healthy, but 6 or 7 either or.
With no Curry?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see.
Either or. Whether it's Warriors or Pelicans, either or. 6 or 7.
So, moving back to the East, I got a question for you. Hassan Whiteside deserves to be playing more minutes in this series, yes or no?
No.
No?
Yeah, I say no. He doesn't deserve to
Tell
play.
me why.
He just doesn't play with energy. I was watching, the game and stuff, and sure our listeners were too. And at halftime, Shaq nailed it right on the head. He's just like, he's given up on plays where he thinks he should get the ball, where if he was still a little more active, like, he would be able to get the ball. Or Embiid's out the first 2 games of this series. He should be killing Ilyasova and Amir Johnson on the board. Yet the Sixers have won every single rebounding battle, of these games.
Mm-hmm.
And Ilyasova's getting offensive rebounds everywhere, all over Whiteside. Man, he doesn't. Honestly, if I was Spo, game 2, he wouldn't have played at all.
At all.
Whenever they go small, Whiteside would not be in the game. If he doesn't want to show effort, he's.
But what if he's not showing effort because he's not playing?
Well, then, that's the luxury of having an energetic guy like Bam, who can literally do what you want Whiteside to do, except block shots. He's not as good as a shot blocker as Whiteside, but he's a better alley-oop catcher. He's a guy that can switch on the perimeter, guard 1 through 5, literally. He's a little rookie, so you don't really want to trust on a rookie so much. But then you have Kelly, so you could play him, spot minutes and have Kelly come in. You know what I mean? So the Heat have that luxury with their depth, where they can, do different things like that. And
yeah,
I know Spo's like a great coach, and he's just trying to get confidence in Whiteside, because when he's on, the Heat are like a totally different team, but he's just not into it. And I feel like sitting him would motivate him more than just letting him play like 2 minutes and taking him out, because that would discourage him more. I don't know. That's what I would do if I was a coach, but I suppose one of the best for a reason.
I agree with you with that mentality of motivating somebody by sitting them in every situation but the NBA. Like in college, in high school, in AAU basketball, I think that works. But when you're in the NBA, there's so much at stake with ego, with contracts, with the way the NBA, these are like legit grown men. Like, I think I'm taking the opposite. Whiteside should be playing more to me, because, he's the guy they spent all this money on. He's supposed to be their focal point, and we know he can do it. It's not like you're asking Dwight Howard to do this year when he hasn't been able to do this the last 3 or 4 years. Like, earlier this year, Whiteside had a monster game against Philly, and where he took it to Embiid. And I think the only way to get that confidence back is not by sitting on the bench and saying, you're not going to go in unless you play hard. It's leaving him out there and saying, all right, you're going to play, but you better produce. Like, we're expecting you, and let him see, okay, oh man, I didn't produce tonight. I played 30 minutes and I had 5 rebounds. Like, what? But in his mind, he's thinking, oh, I played 15 minutes. I had, 3 rebounds. They didn't give me enough chance. Like, it's a different mentality. I mean, I don't know. I'm not Spoelstra. He's a great coach. He knows what he's doing. Whiteside, maybe he is just being lazy, but you got to use him. You got him on your team, and he matches up better with Embiid than anybody. And they have a history going back where they went at each other, and I think it would motivate him to play. You got to play him more. I think you gotta play him more just to see, because I, you know, they, even though they won one game and the other ones have been pretty close, I think they're not gonna win this series without utilizing Whiteside. You have him on the team, you gotta use him for something.
No, and I agree. I want to, trust me, I would love to have an engaged Whiteside. And that's the thing, like, Embiid came back game 3 and he still, like, didn't do much. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, maybe the first 2 games the excuse was, they were playing super fast. It really wasn't your type of game. But then Embiid comes back and Embiid lights him up. Embiid didn't play basketball for a month. And he comes in and lights you up. Like, shouldn't that be motivating enough? In game 4, he did play a little better. He got more minutes because he was a lot more energetic. He had played with more energy and he played with, he just doesn't have that dog in him that you would expect a guy like that came up the way that he did through the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of, I feel like he's kind of taking these moments for granted right now. And just like, oh, if I'm mad about, not playing so much, then I'm just going to pout about it and not play hard. Rather than just like, man, I'm in the playoffs. Who knows if I'll ever be in the playoffs again. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you play the whole season for. Type of mentality. I just feel like he doesn't have that. And trust me, I'm one of the bigger Hassan Whiteside fans. And just seeing him play like this is kind of discouraging.
No, yeah, you got a good point. I think he should play more, though. You just got to do it. So,
hey.
All right. Go on.
All right, you go ahead. What's the last topic you got for us tonight?
All right, so we're gonna do something, another little bit that we're starting experimenting with. So we just did kind of like the yes no debate section. So now we're gonna do something called overrated, underrated, or just right. So I'm gonna give you an NBA player. You gotta tell me whether you think he's overrated, underrated, or just right.
All right.
Give me some reason why. So the first one, you're gonna love this one. Draymond Green.
Overrated. And I'll tell you why. I think he perfectly fits the Golden State system. His skill set fits that Golden State system. But I do believe if Draymond Green was on a different NBA team, he would not be an all-star. And possibly not even Defensive Player of the Year.
Why is that?
I just feel like he has, the perfect guys around him to be successful at what he can do. He can be that utility guy. But, he kind of talks. And as an all-star too, you may be a guy that on a different team, if you're an all-star, you're like the number one. Like, you're a guy that you need to be counted on every night to do everything for your team. Whatever's needed for your team. And in Golden State, that works. But if he was on, let's say, Milwaukee, would he be an all-star? Probably not. If he was on Detroit, would he be an all-star and Defensive Player of the Year? Probably not. If he was on Denver, would he be that? You know what I mean? He would be a good fit with Denver, but would he be an all-star and Defensive Player of the Year? Probably not. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like that Golden State, extra clout. Like, he's a good player and the Warriors need him. Don't get me wrong. But I just think he's overrated to the point where he's like an all-star. When there's guys that... You know what I mean? There's guys that... I wouldn't say they deserve it more than him. I don't want to make it sound like that, but... I mean, dude was averaging like Lonzo Ball type numbers. And Lonzo Ball was getting ridiculed for those numbers. And he is getting praised for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you from the all-star standpoint. Like, I think that is all built up into the way it's voted in. Like, people have a higher chance of making the all-star game when you're on a better team in the league. For example, this team with the Warriors has been the best team in the league the last 3 or 4 seasons. And so they're just going to get more votes. They're going to get more noticed. You got to give them more players to the all-star team just because traditionally that's how the league's been. When the Detroit Pistons were on top of their game, You know, they at one point they had 4, I think maybe even 5 All-Stars one year with Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, and even just back as recent as the Atlanta Hawks in the East. You know, they had Kyle Korver was an All-Star. Kyle Korver made the All-Star team with Jeff Teague and Paul Millsap and
Horford.
you know, yeah. So I think it's just a factor of that. Like, are his numbers that great? No, to me, like, if you're talking about the All-Star, he's like the All-Star, like the greatest star of role players in the league, and that's what puts him there. So I think Draymond Green is underrated. I think he does so much for the team that goes unnoticed. Intangibles, his leadership. He's the alpha of the Warriors. He's the one who puts everyone in line, tells them when they need to get going, tells them what they need to hear. It's not Steve Kerr. It's not Kevin Durant. It's not even Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry might be the heart and soul for the style the Warriors play, the fun that they play with. But when it comes time to buckle down, Draymond Green's the one yelling at everybody. Draymond Green's the one saying, you know, telling them that they need to step up on defense. And he passes the ball. He can dribble the ball up. He can make a pass. And he can guard the other team's best player, whether it be a center, a forward, a wing, a point guard. He can switch on the guards. I mean, he's so versatile. And the thing is, he helps with the Warriors' chemistry. Chemistry in basketball is one of the hardest things to find. No matter how good you are, we see it all the time. The Thunder, if they had better chemistry, they should be like a top 3 team in the West. If the Minnesota had better chemistry, and they could be a top team in the West instead of being at the bottom. Like, you know, teams have talent, but putting that talent together and building chemistry, that's what Draymond Green does. He's the glue guy. He's, you know, the one that bridges the gap. He always makes the right play. That's his job, is just make the right play. He knows when it's a fast break. Should I throw it to Sean Livingston for a mid-range jumper, or should I throw it out to Klay Thompson for a 3? Like, that's a huge decision.
You know what?
It really, like, and he throws it out to Klay. You gotta, you know.
You know what your argument kind of reminds you of? Like, everything you were saying is literally Joakim Noah of the Bulls, like when he was like at his peak. And do you think Noah did
those guys are so valuable?
But was Noah ever an All-Star? I'm not sure. That's like a legit question.
But maybe I don't know if he ever made the All-Star team.
I know he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Right? That's something to look up. Yeah. But okay. Joakim Noah couldn't dribble the ball up, though.
Well, he was like leading the team in assists.
That's a difference.
He was leading the team in assists as a center.
Yeah, but when I'm talking versatility, Draymond Green can grab a rebound, dribble it up, make the play on the break. Like, he can do everything on the court good. He's not great at anything. He's not a great shooter. He's not even a good shooter. He's not a great, rebounder.
I have 2 more points to make on this.
Go ahead.
One, it's easy to do all of that when you're playing with 3 of the best shooters of all time.
Joakim Noah All-Star twice, just so you know.
Oh, he was? Okay, all right.
Twice. 13 and 14.
Oh, I didn't even remember that. But it's easy to dribble the ball up and find shooters on the wing when you're playing with 3 of the best shooters of all time. Like, Curry and Klay are probably top 5, and KD's definitely in the conversation for like top 10 shooters of all time. And
you're right.
And I believe if Justice Winslow was on the Warriors instead of Draymond Green,
don't even try to tell me
would have
crazy.
The same impact.
Stop. You can.
I think he's a better perimeter.
Cut off this pod right now.
He's a better perimeter defender. He's just as good as a passer. He can lead the break, and instead of Dragic, Richardson, and freaking James Johnson, he would have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant. I think he would have the same impact.
Justice Winslow can't even come close to guarding a center like Draymond can.
He started center for the Heat when Whiteside was out like 2 years ago when he was a rookie. He started at center. and did fine.
This is disrespect to Draymond Green right now, and
I don't think so. I think they have the same versatility. It's all about versatility.
No,
Winslow,
Justice Winslow's not even close to having the court vision of Draymond Green. Green, his role is just do the right thing. That's it.
The Heat play him at point guard. They literally play Justice Winslow at point guard because of his playmaking skills.
That doesn't mean he's as good as Draymond Green though. Like, Draymond is a perfect fit for this team, like you said, yes. And can he do this on another team? Probably not, because he doesn't have these guys on the same team. But that's why he's a role player, and his role is invaluable to this team and on any great team. Any great team, Draymond could fit in. Any great team. He's not asked to be a scorer. He's not asked to be, the single best playmaker of the team. He's asked to be a role player who can dribble the ball up. He can make the right pass. He can defend every position very well, not just like okay. And he gets everybody going. He's ready to fight anybody on the floor at all times. Every team needs that guy. Like, all the great teams have somebody who's ready to go cross the line at any point if they have to. Sometimes Draymond does cross the line too far and it costs them. For example, 2016, was that the year LeBron won?
Yeah. I think it was.
Yeah. So... Anyway, we could talk about this forever. Next topic.
All right.
This is the last one of the day. We'll see what you have to say. Overrated, underrated, or just right? Rajon Rondo.
Which Rondo are we talking about? Regular season or playoff Rondo?
We talking about Rajon Rondo right now. Well, no. Okay, this season, including regular season playoffs, like... Rajon Rondo in general, right now.
I say just right. Because...
Elaborate.
I don't think he's overrated or underrated because, no one really talks about Rondo. But he does have those spurts where he'll have, 15 to 17 to 20 assists, and you're just like, oh, that's old Rondo. So I think he's just right. And coming into this year, I had the Pelicans in the playoffs, which not a lot of people did, because... I felt like Rondo's in his passing ability with two big men like Boogie and AD was so under talked about, because it's basically like having KG and an extra KG, in terms of offensive, because that's what Rondo's bread and butter was in Boston, that pick and pop with KG or going all the way to the rim,
you know
what I mean. So having two guys that can do that, Twin Towers, I always thought he was gonna have a good impact. And he did all year, which was fine. And he was a little banged up a little bit, but I think just right. And he's really playing well. He's really playing really well this playoff, so that's real good for him. So I think just right.
Okay, you think just right then?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say overall, I think Rajon Rondo for the most part is underrated. I think his whole career he's been underrated. But the problem is his attitude and his lack of effort in the regular season kind of gets him where people just don't like him. They just look at him as kind of a little angry, self-centered guy who, people say he I forgot the word, but he's always looking to get the assist. He's the one probing. If he doesn't get the assist, he doesn't want to pass it type of thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
He's selfishly, he's a selfish passer in a sense. There's a term for it. I just can't. It's
same. I know there's a term that we use for it. But anyway, I think he's still underrated though, because he's still a great point guard. He has the experience, and people just have kind of written him off. I mean, I know some people have been saying that it's surprising that he's even, in the league anymore. He bounced around to Dallas, to Sacramento for a while, and it was his career's kind of over and he's just done. But he's proving why he's still good this year, just like he did in the playoffs before he got injured last year. He's just a playoff guy. It kind of reminds me of Andre Iguodala. I watch a lot of the Warriors. He's a guy who during the regular season, now that he's gotten older, he barely does anything. He just kind of getting by, waiting for the playoffs, contribute here and there, sit out most games. And then playoffs come and it's like, all right, it's time to win. It's time to go. He's interested. That's what Rondo's doing. He's interested, and he's showing us again why he is he's a great passer. Like, he's a great passer. That's what he does. And I think this is the first time in a long time where he's been in a good system, like you talked about. He's got bigs that he can throw the ball to, and he's got an off guard in Jrue Holiday now. Tagging them together is great, and it lets Jrue Holiday be a two guard virtually, because Rondo will pass him the ball, and Rondo's happy being the point guard. Rondo doesn't want to share the ball, but with Jrue Holiday is such an easy guy to play with. I think it's a perfect mix here right now.
Yeah,
so
I liked it. And that's kind of what I thought, coming into the season with those three, and with Boogie being out, kind of sucks, but another addition that people don't really talk about is that Mirotic trade that they did, and Mirotic's been playing the lights out too. So he has that pick and pop three guy. He has Anthony Davis, the alley-oop guy, and he's been throwing some crazy alley-oops to Davis. And like we said earlier, Rondo's one of the best passers of all time, in my opinion. And for him to have those type of weapons, rolling and popping, and if they keep all those guys and get Boogie back next year, then he's gonna have three huge options, and he can teach Jrue a little of the things that he knows too. And Drew's pretty good scorer in the mid-range, and so having that mid-range game and all those bigs, dude, the Pelicans, with a couple of the right moves, they could be a real problem moving forward.
Definitely. All right, yeah, no, I agree. He's having a great year, and we'll see next round how great it really is if they can move past this first round. Anyway, that kind of brings us to the end for today. It's been a great podcast. Thank you again, Rod, for being on. And anything you want to say before we go?
The cover artist, the song is called James Harden by Action. Anything else that I wanted to add? Follow us, keep up with our social media pages. Bonafide Basketball on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. LaFleur_media on, Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. And, keep up with, sports. And we also do a little hip hop as well. So if you're into that stuff, just give us a follow and, keep up with our podcast. We'll have a lot more podcasts coming out. We're all under, the LaFleur network now. So, we're going to figure out some other podcasts. We got some hip hop stuff. We got some Bonafide basketball stuff. We got some football stuff as well. So for you NFL fans and college football fans, we'll have some football content for you as well. So
yep, you hit it right on the head. That makes sense. We got a lot coming out. We've been experimenting. We're trying to add more things to this podcast. We tried some new bits today. We're going to try some more next time. Hopefully you like them. Give us any feedback you have, and keep on the lookout, because we're, Bonafide Basketball, LaFleur Media. We'll be sending some more stuff your way. So thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.
Don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.